Hello, my name is DanielleStimpson of Learn Reiki Philadelphia, and this is the overview for the tarot reading for all 12 signs for November of 2022. If you'd like to join me for my 5 times weekly live healing stream here on YouTube, go ahead and click subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss an opportunity to get some Reiki and crystal healing wherever you happen to be. If you'd like to learn more about my live online Reiki classes, community Discord, crystal shop, or social media, check out that description below. So let's go ahead and dive right in and get started. So right off the top, I want to let you know that if you happen to know them, it's recommended that you check out the readings for your sun sign, moon sign, and particularly your rising sign, as that'll give you the most specific view of your month ahead and all of the different moving pieces. Additionally, the astrology of this month is going to really impact a lot of us. I'm going to go into that right now as far as like the most important relevant pieces, but if you want a deeper dive into the astrology of this month, I'll link a few content creators in the description, and I welcome you to link a few down in the comments as well if you find a particularly helpful video. But right out of the gate, right as we start off in November, we are smack dab in the middle of a particularly volatile eclipse season. Eclipse seasons are always pretty dicey. This one is one that people I trust have been actually looking at and talking about for even a couple of years. There's a lot in flux. And so what's the most relevant to all of us? Right now, the sun is in Scorpio. And as we sit here to start out our month, we are in what's known as a waxing lunar cycle. So for those unfamiliar, waxing or increasing in size moon happens between a new moon and a full moon, with the moon getting bigger and its impact energetically greater every single day until the full moon. And then we go into the waning phase where it shrinks a little bit each day until the new moon. So we are in a waxing or increasing lunar energy pull until we get to the full moon, which will happen on November 8th. The new moon, which was a solar eclipse, happened on October 25th. As we approach November 8th, we come to this point where the moon, which will be in the sign of Taurus, is eclipsed. Anywhere that eclipse is visible to the earth, notwithstanding clouds or anything like that, anywhere that it's visible to earth, it's going to be particularly impactful. And it will be visible to North America, which is where I happen to be. Additionally, this will be happening on Tuesday, November 8th, which is the midterm elections in the United States. So that should be fun. The fullness of the eclipsing will actually take place at about 6:01 a.m. on that Tuesday morning, East Coast U.S. time. So you can adjust that according to where you happen to be. With the sign of Taurus, that rules everything about basic needs, the foundations of things, comforts. So we're talking about everything from food, shelter, finances, stability, and even comfort. That's what Taurus rules. So that's the aspects of what's going to come up the most around that full moon. Additionally, this particular lunar eclipse, if it wasn't already powerful and well-timed enough, it's going to make a conjunction to the planet Uranus. The best way I can describe Uranus is chaos and that which cannot be predicted. And that is exactly all the things Uranus is. It is a strong, powerful force of topsy-turvy, you don't know what's coming and what's going kind of energy. Uranus also embodies that instability, but also good things like revolutions, which can change things potentially for the better. It's a lot of chaos. We don't know how it's going to come out, but things like revolution have been positive in the past as well. So it makes a space where change can happen, but it usually involves a lot of upset in the way of going about doing what it does. So expecting that which cannot be predicted. So what does this all boil down to? If I had to predict, which is all I can do because, we're looking at the stars and, if you want to know about the future, read a history book. I mean, that's the best thing you can do. But if we're just looking at the stars and how that can influence things, I would say anything can be impacted from like supply chain, especially like food and ingredients and things like that, to global communications, internet connections, things like that. Financial markets, perhaps all three of those, they could all be impacted quite significantly on a global scale, or even just regionally around the globe. And it could be anything having to do with any of those three or even other things as well. We can't really predict these things, especially Uranus stuff. It's beyond predictability, but we never really know exactly what's going to happen, where it's going to happen. And I would say, so why is it even relevant to know what the stars are doing? Well, I would say, even though we'll never know the specifics, worrying is a misuse of energy and our imaginations, frankly. It's not helpful. But what can we do? So I would say, let's use this time to look at the spiritual factors at play here and what we can do with this time to sort of benefit us. Like what could we learn here? What can we do for the benefit? The spiritual significance of these transits very much relates to calling our values into question. And so in this time of, well, even communication and things, and by the way, Venus and Mercury are having a thing where basically there might be some real difficulty when it comes to understanding communication, understanding each other. I think there might be a lot of either misinformation or difficulty kind of sussing out the truth. And this kind of impacts everyone, different people to different degrees, but it'll impact everyone. So I feel like this is a really good time to look within and really ask ourselves, what are our values? What do we stand for? And do we actually stand for them? How do we act in accordance with our beliefs, with what we feel is important, with what we feel are values that are worth acting in accordance in? Are we acting in accordance in them? Do we need to shift the way that we show up in those? Do we need to do some time maybe searching and thinking to ourselves about those values? Are they really what we believe? Are we believing these values simply because we always have, or because we've really searched our soul and felt like, yeah, this is really important to me? This is a really good time to reflect on all of that. The deeper, what are my values and why? And do they need to shift or could they be better? All the way up to, how do I bring those into my behaviors, my actions, my thoughts, my words, my deeds to go forward into my community? And starting to ask ourselves that, because there will be times in this month where we are, especially around the 8th, where we are really going to be called to show up and do. And as that happens, we're going to want to look back on ourselves in a way that we are proud of ourselves. So I would say that's what I'm going to try to do, and I invite you to try to do the same. So with that, I've created a card spread. I always modify it just slightly for each month. You can actually find a link to it in the description below. You can download it. You can use the reading for yourself if you'd like. But essentially, we start with our usual kind of grounding 3 cards, which is the theme, the starting point, and the challenge. And then we go right into the course of action. So the what do I do with this? What is the best action, or is it inaction? What is what's to be avoided? Do I need to shift my perspective? What's the information about timing? Any of that information can come up in that particular card space. And the 5th would be the wisdom from our guides and the messages from our guides. If your spirit guides could write you a note, what would be in it? And so as I do the readings for all 12 signs, that will be the layout and spread that I'll go into for each of those. Again, I generally do recommend you check out your sun, your moon, and your rising if you happen to know them, and any other big planets that really show up for you in your chart. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and thank you so much for checking these out. It is an honor and a privilege every month to do these cards for you. If you'd like to be alerted when the December cards are available, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you will know. You can also find out more information, again, about me in the description, including even my email newsletter and all that other great stuff. Thank you for being here. Have a beautiful and blessed November. I wish you all the best, and do take care.